Hi and welcome to video number 1 in your Arrays and Lists unit. We're here to talk about the differences between these two wonderful classes and really kind of go in depth as to what they do. So there are two different classes that you can use that we're going to be talking about. So let's start with arrays, the most simple one. Private static. So to start up an array, you first type the data type that will be in it. You could say string, you could say integer, you could say float, you could say whatever you want. For this tutorial, we're going to use string. Okay, so you say string, and then you type brackets to tell it that it's an array. You can actually, inside the brackets, type the number of elements that are in the array, but I don't ever do that. It's kind of a waste of time. All right, then you type in the name of the variable afterwards, so we'll just call this strings. You do equals, curly brace, and you just type in your array right here. Let's say, hello, I'm an array. Okay. The syntax isn't much different than anything you've seen before, like in JavaScript. All the elements are separated by a comma. This one has 4 elements is what it's called. And remember, arrays start at index 0. So if you were trying to read items out of this array, this would be strings at 0. This would be strings at 1. This would be strings at 2. And we can go ahead and demonstrate that by just printing out some stuff here. Say strings, and then remember to read them you do square brackets and the index. So strings at 0 should be hello. Sure enough, it is. Strings at 1. Okay, so there you go. And that's shared between arrays and array lists. So if this was an array list, you could read individual items the same exact way. All right, so that's strings. Now, one of the things you can't do to an array is you can't add items to it. If you wanted to add an item to this, you can't do strings.addItem or add or anything. And actually, if you try to set the value of whatever the next element would be, so this is 0, 1, 2, 3. If you tried to set strings at 4 equal to something, you'd actually get an error, which is right there. This says array index out of bounds exception. 4. You're trying to set the strings array's 4th element equal to something, but strings doesn't have a 4th element, and it can't have one because it started only with up to index 3. Okay, so that's one of the downside of strings. All right, well, what if it was an array list? Let's go ahead and do an array list. So we can do private static. And for array lists, you type array list, and then diamond, or caret, and in here you put the data type. So in this case it'll be string, and then you type the variable name. We'll call it strings list. Now there is one more thing you have to do with an array list. You have to initialize it first before you can use it. So you can't just say strings list dot add hello. You'll get an error. Watch. This says java.lang.null pointer exception. It means that the pointer strings list is pointing to something that doesn't exist yet. So you actually need to make it exist first by saying strings list is equal to a new array list. And you do diamond, and then when you're initializing it, make sure you do parentheses. Okay, now you could go ahead and add hello to it, and if you print out the value of strings list, you get hello. Okay, and you can actually add items to strings list infinitely. Okay, if you go all the way up to here and you print it out, you'll get the whole array. Okay, so that is one place where array lists have an advantage over arrays. It's that you can print out, or you can continue to add things. You can also remove them. If you wanted to remove the last item from strings list, you could say dot remove, and in here you can put any number of the index. So the first one would be 0. The last one, if you ever want to do the last one, you could do strings list dot sized -1. Interestingly, size is how you get the length of an array list, while dot length is how you get the length of an array. It's kind of awkward. So like the length of an array list is dot size. The length of an array is just strings dot length. A little bit awkward. Anyway, but if we did that, this will remove the last item in the array. All right, now when should you use these? We're going to, throughout the unit, look at when you should use each one, but basically arrays take up less memory than array lists. So if you care about memory, you want to use arrays when possible. Now, of course, if you have to always manipulate your data here, arrays are not realistic. As we'll look at in the next video, to add an item to an array, you have to create a new array, add the item to it, and then set your variable array equal to that new array. It's not efficient. So there are exceptions to that rule, but the general rule of thumb is that, you know, when you care about memory, use array lists and not arrays. Okay, so that's it. That's it for now. You should head over to your Schoology assessment, and we'll be done.